was back in 2016 or 17 now. So almost 9 years ago. I was actually just coming out of a 2-year-long cancer treatment. And I've always been a nature lover. So I do hike a lot. I spend a lot of time in nature. I can't sit still, basically. I'm that kind of a person. But when I was, going through cancer treatment, my body, just cannot afford, right, for me to do too much activity, basically. So the only thing that I insisted on doing that would put me in touch with nature is to go across the road and sit at a park. A very urban park, it's very concrete, with a lot of like man-made features, like fountains and all that. But also there are a lot of beautiful trees, and it's also right by the sea. So I had the joy of connecting with both water and trees, and of course soil, and all the people who were enjoying that space too. So because my body was in such a weak state, it was actually even more obvious that every time I go sit at the park, I felt better. Like I felt like something is different. And, when you're spending so much time indoors, I think most people who've been through COVID now knows that when you spend so much time indoors, you become a little sluggish, right? And you just can't really pinpoint exactly what's wrong, but you just like, you don't feel like yourself. So when I was in that phase in my life, basically I spent most of my time at home, and except for that short period when I go sit at the park, that became the highlight of my day. And that really, I guess, planted a seed in me to explore, okay, I'm curious. I want to know what's happening. Why is it that I feel much better sitting across the road in a park compared to in the comfort of my own home, right? So when I came out the other side of cancer treatment, and I started to think about, okay, now I survived. Now what do I want to do? I was really holding that question for a long time. And I actually got a job offer to do something else, something that was much more aligned with what I used to do. But I really had this struggle internally of, should I really go back, or should I just stay open and do something different? And this part of my story, I haven't really shared that much, but I basically, I went into prayer. Like I prayed for an indication of, okay, what do you want me to do now? And I really remember actually that I heard a message, and I can't really describe what the voice sounds like or anything. It's just a feeling, right? It's just a feeling. But then the feeling became quite specific. It was telling me that, yes, you can do this job if you want. You can do anything, really. But if you don't do this job, you can actually help more people. So I was really intrigued. I was like, wait, hold on a second. If I don't do this job, I have no idea what I can actually do. And you're saying I can help more people. Okay. I guess with that caveat of you can help more people, it's very hard for me then to take up that job offer, because it's almost like I'm rejecting that opportunity to help a lot more people, which just totally doesn't make sense, right? So I was like, okay, I'm not going to take that job offer. And then I'm just going to see what happens. And then, interestingly enough, I think, I can't remember exactly how long, but not long after, I read an online magazine article, and there in that article, it talks about forest therapy. And that was the first time that I saw these two words put together. I know forest, I know therapy, but I didn't even know there's something called forest therapy. And then as I read more about it, I realized I felt like that was what I was actually doing innately, just such an organic part of my own, I guess, self-management when I was recovering from cancer, that, it's going out and spending time amongst trees and, bird songs and the ocean is doing something to my body that I later realized is actually very therapeutic and definitely was a big part of my healing. So that is the kind of the story behind how I found out that there is an association of nature and forest therapy, and they're offering trainings, and I dropped them an email, and I think it was Amos, the founder of the
Wow.
association, that responded. I was asking, do you have a guide in Hong Kong? Can I just do a walk? Because I really needed it for myself. And I think the response was, no, we don't have anyone in Asia, but we are coming to Australia to do a training a few months later. So I was like, I think I thought about it for like 5 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply.
That's it.
That's
Book
it.
the flight.
And then what's interesting is after I have applied, I realized that there are going to be guides in Hong Kong. Within the same year that I did my training, actually, I realized there were 3 other people who's doing or done the training. So I wasn't the first certified guide in Hong Kong, but what's crazy was we all started that journey in the same year, in 2017. So it's fascinating to me. So that's how it all began.
Wow.